Well, that was certainly entertaining. I was entertained. We have a lot to do today, so it has been a busy fourth month of the year already, and it has certainly been a busy week. We sent out, my loose count, 11 letters of intent on Monday. Yesterday, 8 of them. And if you're a fan, if you watched that hour and 30, 40-minute long live yesterday, you would have heard 2 live calls that equaled email/LOIs, coast to coast. If you're new to the channel, jump into the top chat during the live and ask your questions. If you're watching this video evergreen, in other words, it is not live and I've left it up, feel free to jump into the comments. Depending on what I'm doing, I'm pretty good about answering actual questions. If you give me a compliment, I might say, gee whiz, aw shucks. But if you ask a question, good or bad, I'm going to answer that question. So we'll do that today. What's on tap for today? Well, of those dozen or more LOIs that went out, look, those aren't leases. For those of you in the cheap seats, a letter of intent is precisely that. These are our intentions. This is what we intend to do, i.e. you intend to sign a lease at this rate, etc. Scary, exciting, all of that, but it is not a legal and binding contract. Sometimes the landlords sign them and send them back. We digitally sign them when we send them too. Whether or not they're sent fro at all is part of this. If you look at my 1,000+ YouTube videos, you'll see that I have a lot of this back and forth process in front of you live. Apparently we have a guest, a visitor. Say something.
This came for you.
Oh, thanks, babe. Rare appearance of Shelly. Why are you handing? Oh, because it's heavy.
I had to sign for it.
Shelly had to sign for something, so she wants you guys to apparently be impressed. I told her if this came to bring it in. That's how 1 pound of gold shows up, by the way. We all have our hobbies, right? I came from nothing. I literally... Juice box? What the fuck is a juice box? I didn't have juice boxes in my house. So when I was a kid, shiny things always impressed me. I wish you could feel this. This is doesn't look like a pound, but it is. Got to block my eyeballs. 1 pound of gold. Comment when you figure out what that's worth. I pay spot price. I do not pay over spot. All right, what the hell was I saying? All right, so we're going to get to, yes, a true lease negotiation, but now Shelly wants to know what it is. It's a pound of gold.
Oh, is it for me?
It's for you. You may have it. Just give me your watch.
Wow.
Okay, I'm
That's
busy.
amazing.
Love you.
Okay.
Goodbye. A lot of people take the lives very seriously. Apparently, Shelly doesn't. So, Max says a cameo appearance from someone we actually like to see. Well, nobody's forcing you to look at me. I'm with you. I wish Shelly would sit in here on every one of these. She's got shit to do. We're going to get to the renegotiation of a lease, which you all came here for, because I can sit here and rant. I can talk one way. If you're new to the channel, not my thing. The juice, the excitement, the reality in any reality show is the unknown. What is the other guy going to say? And I don't mean my clients. I don't mean you if you become a client or are a client. I mean the landlord. I didn't know 20 years ago when I started consulting not started my laundry journey. That was prior to that. Started consulting with you guys and helping you. I didn't know that that would become the bread and butter of a silly YouTube channel. I didn't. But that's what people want to see. Feel free to jump into the top chat, ask your questions. We have our little methodology here that I've concocted, and I will jump in. Watch your P's and Q's. Be kind to one another. Don't talk amongst yourselves. And if your YouTube name is Jackie Hole 15, let me know your name is Jack. That's all I ask. Real laundry questions. The letters of intent, I have a few of those emails that I need to answer, and a couple of the folks that sent them to me. I think this is important because everything about the letter of intent is important. Now, if you've seen my course, I talk about it. I'll happily send it to you. The course is digital. It doesn't include pieces of paper inside. There's no book, pamphlet that goes along with it. It seems a little much because you can email me and I'll send you the LOI. However, with this caveat, we don't just send letters of intent willy-nilly to landlords. Here's why. Let's say you have the ideal laundromat, and what I mean is it's horrific, it's disgusting, it's decrepit, it's falling apart. 80% of the equipment is broken. There's a payphone in the corner. All the things I talk about in the course, all of the indications of failure. They're all there. Smells like ass, homeless people doing trapeze, all of it. There's a phone number. The landlord is easy to find. You have his home address and his email. Maybe he's a part-time realtor or a full-time broker. You type out the perfect letter of intent. You've taken the time, energy, effort. You've seen my course. You've asked me for my LOI, and I'll happily send it. And you take 3 days to type out this letter of intent. It's a one-pager. It's not complicated. Dear Mr. Landlord Fred Cucumber, the address in question, shit-ass laundromat on 145 NE Street. I intend to rent it for 15 years at this price, etc. Now, you not only email this to him, but the same day, get your forever stamp out and send it snail mail on a perfectly printed parchment paper piece of parchment. Trying to do some alliteration there. Thank you very much. You mail him a copy. God forbid a week goes by and you hear nothing. Did he open it? Probably not. Raise your hand if you've ever received a farming letter. If you don't know what that is, that's a real-looking letter. Sometimes even hand-printed, your name and address. You think, oh, Jesus, this must be from Aunt Margaret. It's my $5 check for Christmas. You open it up. Womp, womp. It's actually a letter from some douche that wants to buy your house, rent your parakeet, or polish your 87 Toyota Corolla. It's a farming letter, meaning they plant these seeds 10 million times or 10,000 times or 10 times. We all get farming texts. Hi, Daniel, I want to buy your house at 4209 Cucumber Ranch. I love those because I always write back, let's do it, because it's my neighbor's address. If you send that letter of intent and you've perfectly formulated it and we're fairly certain that that laundromat is ready to fall, it will likely be ignored and treated as a farming letter. If you're lucky enough for that landlord to crack it open and look at it, or look at it on the computer, he's going to look at it and think to himself, this is obviously a farming letter, even though it isn't. Maybe he sold the building 2 months ago or 2 days ago. How would you know? Maybe, God forbid, he's passed on, and now his grandson, son, niece, nephew, or cousin runs the family business. How would you know? When you see me talking to landlords That is the precursor to any letter of intent, kids. A meaningful discussion about the location, the disposition of the current operator, and your future success with that landlord. And that discussion and that precursor must happen first, whether you make the call or you have me do it. When I field these emails from folks who haven't even seen the course, who are simply a fan of my YouTube, and they say, hey, I want to see that LOI. Okay, you want to see it? Great, here it is. Simple. My LOI verbatim, in fact, it just reminds me, since we're talking about letters of intent, my LOI has been plagiarized in a book about laundromats. Verbatim. Crazy. Without changing a single word. Guy's a real winner. We have that meaningful discussion and we get the one-word answer we're looking for. Yes, okay, fantastic, compound word, can't wait. And then we send the LOI. Now that LOI is a hammer. Hey, they must be serious. They not only emailed me a brilliant letter of intent, but also put a parchment paper, paragraph after paragraph, in the pail to me mail. So from what you have seen, we're now interjecting some of the middle parts, if you will, okay? What happens behind the scenes, BTS, I learned that yesterday in the live. What happens, BTS, I hang up, I email the letter of intent to my client with instruction, with fairly not only rigid, but very detailed instruction, because I don't expect or suspect that any of you have ever done it before. I go into a lot of detail. Now, look, when I pick on a client, it's not for the sake of clicks. I don't do it purposefully. Maybe that's not the right term. I'm trying to lift everyone else up. Hey, don't make the mistake of talking to the landlord, for the love of God, etc. Now, this is something I've never seen. This particular LOI, and we're not going to talk to him on the telephone unless he texts me and wants to get on. My LOI is very straightforward, to the point. It becomes your LOI. Certain things are underlined, certain things are in dark print, as you might imagine. I've never seen this before. This client, because the LOI needs to be one page, it's a one-pager. If you're a former president of the United States and you're looking for a job, first of all, you don't need a resume. Secondly, if you have one, it better be a page. They call me Mr. Prez. That's all you need. Your resume speaks for yourself. Try not to digress because we got a lot of shit to do. I give you 3 pages of instruction for a 1-page letter of intent. I also include tons of print that is red. And I say clearly, remove the red verbiage and interject your own part of it. I'll admit, guys, I never send the LOI the same day, because I never sent my LOIs the same day, because not whiskey most of the time. It was because I needed to have fresh eyes. You're taking a pop quiz in grade school, you're writing down your answers. If it's your doctorate thesis, I hope you're not writing it in a day and saying, perfect, chef's kiss, ready to go. Fresh eyes means even though you think it's brilliant, you're going to wait till tomorrow. And when you wake up and read that thing, you're like, wow, how did I miss that? Whatever that is. Fresh eyes. We do it in editing. We do it in filmmaking and writing. This client took it upon himself to write an entire paragraph below the agent's information and above the real ask in the LOI. Dear blank, thank you for choosing XX Laundromat Mat LLC, which is a typo, as your tenant for this incredible opportunity. As we continue evaluating this space, we believe that choosing X Laundromat Mat LLC will bring a, now we know that he cut and pasted this, will bring a unique value and incredible capabilities that will better help serve the community. After carefully touring this space, blanky blank Laundromat Mat LLC hereby makes the following offers, plural, which it shouldn't be, through her name, the realtor, to rent approximately X square foot of retail space and have improvements made in order to ensure the highest level of productivity, period. This space is located at blank address. Below, he's underlined, we have a list of the following terms that must be agreed upon. Kids, none of that is in my LOI. Now just imagine for a moment, and again, I'm not picking on anyone, this individual or anyone. I'm working with this kid. I call anybody under 50 a kid. I sent him a copy of my letter of intent. He was listening in when we spoke to the realtor, and he took it upon himself to write what should be 2 paragraphs in one. That doesn't have any place in a letter of intent. An LOI should be a rubber stamp of what we intend to do, what he intends to sign on his lease. Without getting into, again, if he wants to talk about it, if he's watching this, he can text me. Otherwise, that's not what this is about. What it's about for me is the fact that I try so hard to say, hey, I know you've never done this before. I know you're new to this process, but let me give you exactly what you need to be successful. No more, no less. If he wanted to write some flowery language to me and tell me how proud he was, or use AI, and I don't think this is AI. Don't get me started. That's a different story. Now, I'm not going to go into the other detail of this letter of intent for obvious reasons. But we will bring on another. Now, stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss these lives. We're going to go renegotiate a lease here in a moment. Noah. Get ready, Noah. Pull up your knickers. All right. Other than Shelley, here's some real human contact. Jesus. Can you tell it's heavy? Are you too afraid to say hello?
No, I said hello. I said, Donnie, it must be a lag on my end. How you doing?
Yeah. Turn off your radio, as they say in radio. All right. I sent you the LOI, and first and foremost, you sent it back in Google Doc form. So you need to change that. I write that in the description. Internationally, we utilize Word because you can see changes, etc. I could explain why, but we use Word. Okay. I'm looking at the original unchanged LOI that you sent back to me. So you've got a bunch of Canadian shit on here, Montreal, La Rouge, and the way you guys write things up there. Hey, does this work in Canada?
Yeah.
Noah, does it work in Canada? Yeah, it does.
Absolutely.
Of course it does. Does. Free laundromat, nothing's free. Contract, 15 years. So when I put together this LOI, I used a lot of psychology, right? There's bullet points. There's 1 through 10. That's important, right? There's, should I start with the whammy of the price per square foot, even though it's the most important thing? No, let's move that down to number 2. We begin with how many years we are offering. Now, when they read that, psychologically, they might think, you know what, that's a long time for a lease. That's fantastic. I've even had landlords take a pen and redline it. That's what it's called when they send back changes, and change it to 20, as though they're not doing us a favor. That's great. But they're reading that, and there's a reason that it's bold in type, right? Price per square foot, no more than $13. Why did you ask for $13?
I asked for $13 because I broke down the cost, and that's what we came to an agreement. $1,200 for the 1,100 square feet equals $13 per year.
You asked for that because we already agreed upon that. We're not asking for less. And if you ask for less, they might not even read any further. They might just say to themselves, well, pshaw. And for the cheap seats, understand, when I'm reading over this many LOIs in a given day, week, month, year, I read until I see an error, and then I should probably have a canned email to tell the client this. I read until I see an error, and then I fire off an email back to you, and I say, change this, and then I look. When I see that it's still good, this is just the way my mind works. Whether it's on my phone.
Which you have to do a couple of times.
Already, yeah. Whether it's on my phone or not.
Yeah.
So that's fine. And then 12 months at no cost, the gross lease. I've had clients that say, and then 6 months gross lease at $3,000 when the rent isn't even going to be $3,000. I don't understand, Noah, where they come up with these numbers. I don't get it.
Sense.
Math is finite. They'll put 30,000. They'll put, I swear to God. And I'm like, can you just imagine if you sent this? You have to look at it with fresh eyes.
That's why fresh eyes. Right, fresh eyes is important. I realize that too because I made multiple mistakes, maybe 10 mistakes. I had to keep looking it over myself before I even sent it to you, and then you found mistakes. So
we haven't even gotten that far. Now, you said tenants in the business of coin-operated. I wrote tenants in the business of coin-operated laundromat, an estimated minimum of $165,000. Why was that the amount that you had in there?
Because you put in the instructions $150 per times the square footage. Okay. So that's what I came up with.
So the store is small, as they are in Canada. Yes. Now, sometimes the client is fearful that by putting this in writing, this is what I intend to spend on washers, dryers, folding tables, blibbity, blobbity, blue, open signs, right? My intention is, they think that the landlord is going to come back and look at their receipts. No.
Right.
I'm sorry, no. Has it happened? Sure. But we're talking Walmart, international contract, somewhere in Dubai, not a goddamn laundromat in Montreal. Okay?
Right.
Sorry, not sorry. Never seen it happen in my experience. If it does, I'll come on here and take a tarring and feathering. That number should be massive because they are going to look at it and say, oh, shit, this guy's not messing around. HVAC, proper and sufficient air conditioning units, all ductwork and common electric to be warranted within 30 days, commencement date. Now, I say in the original one, either installed or warranted. Now, if you ask them to install HVAC and it already has it, rubber stamp, they're done with this, they're not going to continue reading the LOI.
Exactly.
You said warranted because obviously it's air conditioning. People don't realize, they're like, oh, who's not going to have air conditioning? In Phoenix, Arizona, or Dallas, Texas in 2024. Just wrote an LOI, like I said, Monday, with no air conditioning. It's a laundromat. Well, those people don't care. They're tough as nails, those idiots. Now, dude, you on number 5, you said, Noah will ask for whatever appropriate repairs and replacement in the facilities are necessary in this section.
I knew that one didn't make sense.
You left it. You added your name and left it there. No, you need to ask. And dude, you can look through the glass. This is the one that freaks everybody out. Clause number 5. I don't know. If it doesn't look like it needs the thing, it doesn't need it. Or I have people that they turn clause 5 into another page. In this horrible fake legalese, got pulled over by a cop, and all of a sudden everything's a vehicle, and the way they talk changes. They start to write in this fake legalese that they want the landlord to scrub the floors, clean the bathrooms, and paint the walls. The landlord is only going to do what elevates their investment, their building. I believe yesterday on the live, a landlord said, "Oh, we're about to replace the roof." Don't give a shit. Of course you're going to replace the roof. We're going to knock on the door. Bro, the roof's leaking. They're responsible for the four walls and the roof no matter what. This is starting to get boring. I thought this would be exciting, but I don't think I got much further than that, did I?
Not really, no. There wasn't much need to go further. I sent you 2 pictures of the flooring because I wasn't sure if it was concrete or not. As you saw,
now we're on to that. Okay.
Right.
So
they're like giant slabs of I don't know what. So what you told me to do was remove existing flooring as opposed to the wording tiles because it's not tiles. So
correct. Hold on a second. I'm having technical difficulties.
Not a problem.
Oh, no. I clicked a thing and I thought I shut the YouTube machine off. No, we're still here. Yay. Don't speak Russian to me, people. We'll get to your questions in a minute. No, you've been a fan of this channel.
He's still going with the Russian.
Yeah, I mean, I mention the guy every time. I don't like to put people in timeout. I don't like to delete people. I think it's disingenuous when you're on an informational channel. You know, this isn't somebody calls me a name or says my nose is too big. I'm like, great. Well, it works for me. But when it comes to using a foreign language, it gets some people get in here and they try to dig on me. Not personally. It's all right. You sent another one. And this is the one that we're going to look at. Again, you need to send it back in Word format.
I already sent it to the landlord.
Okay.
I downloaded it in a PDF, and then I sent it to him.
Oh, God, you're killing me, dude. Ceiling. Fix damaged ceiling, only hole in ceiling where leak was, to match rest of ceiling within 30 days. Don't do that. Put it back to my original verbiage. Replaced it so they don't have hung ceiling. They don't have tile.
They don't have tile. They cut open maybe a foot by a foot because there was a leak from the tenant upstairs. So there's some exposure there. They cut open a hole and they haven't fixed that yet.
Noah.
Yeah.
Does this sound? I know you speak 2 languages, bro, but fixed damage ceiling, only hole in ceiling where leak was. They know where the leak was.
No, it doesn't.
You're going to say,
You know why that happened? Because I put only in hole in ceiling where the leak was originally, and then I put fixed damage ceiling. I changed it after, so I should have changed it entirely.
Okay, but here's the point of fresh eyes. If you send it like this, they're only seeing it once. R&R, okay? Repair and replace. R&R ceiling, done. Within 30 days of commencement, done. Okay? They'll know what that means.
Right.
Repair and replace. They're not going to fix the whole thing. They're going to fix the hole.
Right.
Signage. Landlord to provide bonderie on marquee and above retail space. Did I say that right?
I like the French accent. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Of
course. Croissant. So, what's written there now?
Okay, there's nothing written above the retail space. There's on the window in white, which you can hardly see, it says bonderie, whatever, in like the vinyl sticker kind of thing. That's it.
Do the other suites have backlit metal signage?
No, but they have big signage. Like the Asian market next door has a big signage, Nuri, whatever it's called, above the retail space.
Okay, that's what you want. So verbiage here needs to say that you want the same shizzy that they have on the landlord's dime. Okay? This is deplorable.
Right.
But does the marquee, the common area sign, does that say bonderie or laundromat?
Yeah, it says that, but it's hardly visible. If you're driving by, you can't even see it.
Okay. Then don't say to provide. Landlords who R&R, Bonderay on marquee, and provide with appropriate CC&Rs, which means the same as the other people's signs, okay? Now, they could say no to that, and then understand this is a process. If they say F you in French, no, vachement. If they say no, then we are going to ask for tons more free rent because you will make money and you will make enough to tell yourself, okay, I'm not going to be in the profit. I'm not going to be in the black until I fix that sign.
Right.
Now, the flooring comes up and you say, landlord to remove existing flooring to facilitate tenants' work. Perfect. Because what they do have there is concrete with that shitty flake paint on it. And it's
like
all
epoxy or something like that?
It's epoxy. We don't put
I didn't know what it
epoxy
was. Like,
on the floors. We polish the concrete, stain it if we must, but that lasts forever. The last thing you want to do
under that, there's more concrete?
Yeah, it's an eighth of an inch of epoxy. That's all that is, and it's concrete under that. No, nobody's dumb enough, hopefully, to epoxy over tile. Contingencies, space should be subject to tenant's approval. Lease within 15 business days. No fee, no brokerage fees, unmolested current FE. Good. You put your little signature on there. Now, you make these changes. You change it back. You send it back to me, and as soon as I get off the live, I'm looking at this and 3 others. I thought I might jump on a couple of other folks that have these out there. You all know who you are. In the interest of time, I'm not going to dick around with that. And Noah, I told you that we would. So it's you guys know who you are. I have an entire subsection in my email when an LOI comes in. My computer's pretty smart at finding them and putting them in the category. If not, I put them in there myself, and then I look at those. I do this 2 or 3 times a day. You don't want to be me. All right. I'm done with you. Go make the changes. Congratulations. You don't have shit yet.
Thanks, Danny. Take care.
I would like to say something. Too late. He hung up. I was going to say something in French. Okay. I'm going to put a couple of things across the top chat, which do be X's, and that's why a placeholder for me, so I know where I am at. Now, I'm going to talk to you guys about your current chats. Don't stop chatting and asking questions, because when I come back, I'll see that little placeholder thing, and I will know where I left it off. The Devin says, yo, Danny. Yo. Mr. Rosenthal says, I'm here. Great. We missed you. RJ says, 11,000 for rent. That's crazy. It is. Yes. Oh, he's referring to the live, the video, the precursor to the live. Yeah. And what would be your response to that, RJ? Most people say, well, that's a lot. But it must be appropriate for the area. It must be what people are paying. It must be just the way that it is. Listen to the nuances of that previous video. I said, the guy failed because you charged him $11,000 in rent. He topped out and he had to leave. Now you need to reset the lease. No, he didn't leave because of that. He left because his equipment was shitty. He saw it as a loss. He wasn't about to go retool and spend more money. The laundromats go away, guys. The laundromats go away all the time. Evan, I'm putting you in timeout for 30 minutes because of the Russian. Dude, if you want to jump on the channel, translate your best to Inglai. Izdata. RJ says, gold, yes, gold. They send it in the mail like it's nothing. They insure it. Freddie says, we love visitors. We do. Cameo appearance from someone who we actually like to see. That's Shelly. Yes. I've seen a lot of her today. It's worth $24,000. A little bit less in the spot. The spot price 3 days ago is what I paid for it. Freddie says 25,000. Tyler says $34,824.33. Jesus. Who did it go up that much? Spot price. Gold spot. You guys are going to do the math. Gold spot is $2,372. This is 1 pound, which is 16 ounces. So 16 times 2372. Somebody help me out. Ruben says, King Danny, ahoy. Max says, someday I will see her in person and get me a hug in your presence with your consent. You don't have to ask me to hug my lovely wife. Carl says 25,000. You guys are all pretty damn close. AI all the time. Al the time. Al. Robert De Niro look-alike. The Ace Rothstein of laundry. A little bit. That's the only impression I do without having to say anything. Patty boy here. Oh, hi, Patty boy. Amco Insurance, fire. All right, I put my marks up. Yes, that is the correct number. $37,952. My grandfather told me once, and I'll never forget it, no matter what changes in the world, a pound of gold will buy you a new Cadillac. It's still true. Let's go to Utah, shall we? I'm no computer whiz. It takes me a minute to do the computer things. Caleb. This is going to be fun, unique, and exciting. We'll know instantly if he's aware that we're live.
Hello.
Hello?
How's it going?
It's going. You know me, I'm not
That's
into
good.
small talk.
Yeah.
Have you been watching the YouTube machine today?
Today specifically, no, but
Good. Good.
Yeah.
All right. So, firstly, forgive what is not my ignorance, but what is my nonchalance. That's a good T-shirt.
Yeah.
Your store, you are currently operating in Utah's. How did you get it?
So, my parents had it. Well, I guess my parents and two of my uncles, they all kind of owned it. They own the building that it's in, and they ended up buying it out from the guy that owned it because he owed them a bunch of back rent and didn't even live in the state, and just kind of up and left
All right,
it.
let me help you with my own verbiage, and in doing so, it will bounce back into my own head. So,
Okay.
your folks and two of your uncles owned the dirt. They were the landlords.
Yes.
And the dipshit that was running the laundromat ran it into the ground, owed them some money, so they all shook hands backward, spit and vinegar, and off he went.
Yep.
Stop me if I'm wrong about any of this. How long ago did he exit?
About 13, 14 years ago.
Okay. How long did he run it prior to that?
2 years.
Oh, only 2 years. Okay. Who built the laundromat? Is this a strip mall or a standalone building?
Strip mall.
Okay. Who built the laundromat in the strip mall?
He did. The first original guy.
The guy that was there for 2 years?
He built it for his children who were going to school, college, and they were.
I didn't ask why he
like,
built it. He built it because he's an idiot. But he built the laundromat and only lasted 2 years.
Yes.
Did you know that 95% of laundromat? Oh, I'm sorry, I need to say it backwards. Laundromats have a 95% success rate. Was he part of the 5?
Apparently.
Wrong. No, that's not what the Coin Laundry Association. And I don't take umbrage with the CLA saying things like that. The only association that looks out for operators. Okay, 100%. I know the president, who's been the president his whole adult life. I could send him a text. He'll come on the show. That's not the point. It's a real figure. Does this laundromat fall into that category? 95% success rate. Sure it does. Did it close? No. It's still there and operating, is it not?
Yes.
Kaboom. So their figure is real. But the truth is, that guy failed. So if the only test is your store, what's the failure rate? Help me out with the math. I'm not a math guy.
Me neither.
50%.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
No. I don't think so.
Driving down the street at 120 miles per, I look over to the right and I see the laundromat and the sign is on. And then that original guy who only survives for 2 years leaves and you take it over and turn the sign on that says open. My 100-mile-an-hour view is 100% success rate, right?
Right.
The people I take umbrage with are these all of a sudden brand new laundromat gurus who dip their toe in the water with laundries and they become experts. They pull that figure and spew it over and over, and allow that to be your litmus test, kids.
Okay.
Oh shit! Now he knows we're on YouTube. Damn it! Tried to keep that a secret. Not really. There's only like 3 people watching. That's your litmus test, because honestly, when someone says something like that and then in the next breath says, "Give me some money so I can teach you about this industry," head for Z Hills. I mean, you tell me I'm wrong. I don't know personally. Did you ever seriously follow anybody on YouTube or buy a course from anybody other than me?
Not like aggressively, no.
Have you been aggressive with me? Because that will hurt my feelings if that's the case. All right, end of all that selfishness from me. So this store, and just rapid fire Coke, Pepsi, how big is it? What's the square footage?
2285 square feet.
And it is now 15 years old?
Yes.
Look at that. That was math. Guy had it for 2. Probably spent, even in, I'm not going to do the math and figure out the year, even in 15-year-old dollars, that's 2010-ish. Number 1 song with a bullet, Hootie and the Blowfish. So even back then, he probably spent $200,000 in gas, water, electric infrastructure alone before he bought 1 washer or 1 dryer. You probably don't know.
No idea.
But that's why we love laundromats. What are today's environmental impact fees to put 1 washing machine in the ground?
Here, I have no idea.
You should
a lot of money too much.
Could be thousands, but there is a fee.
Makes sense. Yeah. I mean, if there's one thing I've learned from you, don't buy and don't build, because
yeah. We all know that. And see, now you're YouTubing. Thanks.
Yeah.
I would like to know this. What's the current disposition of the store? Is it solely yours? Do your parents still own the dirt? What's going on?
They're the landlords still, so they own the dirt. I own the business.
Okay. Did you give them $1 for it?
Yes, I paid $30,000 for it.
That's not $1. I was meaning a real actual dollar bill.
Oh,
How did you arrive at a $30,000 price tag?
They were going to sell it to someone, whoever, and they came to 30,000 because that's what they paid for it 15 years ago, and they just want their money back.
Damn, man, your parents are harsh. I like them. They didn't just give you shit for free. They said, you're going to pay. And, you know, was there anywhere in the back of your mind where you said, well, listen, folks, you paid 30 grand. And this is the thing. People say, well, I want 100,000 for my boat because I spent 100,000 on it a decade ago. That don't fly.
Right. I think the idea behind it was that if they were to have sold it themselves, they figured they could have got more than that because they got that. So
that makes sense. They weren't out to get you, and they likely did you a favor either way. Now, if you 13 years ago knew about me, you might have said, hey, look, watch this guy's DVD and maybe we'll talk.
Yeah.
I'm thoroughly confused. You hired me. You want me to negotiate the lease for you, but here's the question, and folks at home are probably wondering, who do we negotiate with? Who's the person in charge of, who sits on the other side of the lease negotiating table on this deal?
My uncle, who's my landlord.
Okay, your uncle. Uncle Tom, what's his first name?
Brian.
Uncle Brian. Why? He's family. Why do you need me? That's the burning question.
Because I don't know the things that you know. I tell him, I mean, if I talk to him, one, he's good at landing on his feet. He's a cat. No matter how you throw him, he seems to land on his feet.
I like him. Did he teach you how to smoke a cigar at one point? Is it that uncle?
Yeah. And then, like, I could say, hey, this is what I need. And he'd be like, why? And I'd be like, I don't know.
Okay. So it is, you're likely in a better position because he's family, but you don't feel confident and comfortable going to him with some harsh realities because he's family.
Right.
I think they call that a double-edged family. They call that a double-edged sword. So on one hand, now, did you talk, where are we at now? Did you talk to him at all about any of this? Resetting the lease? No?
Yes. The latest that I've told him is that Speed Queen Financing is requiring me a new lease that is the length or longer than the loan amount. And he said, okay, send me over a copy of your lease, digital copy that he can edit.
As you hope it will remain forever in stone? Is that what he means? Why would he ask you for a copy of a lease that he owns?
Well, so he has a land management company, but he doesn't want to go through them because they'll charge us a bunch of money.
Got it. Smart.
And he doesn't have the edible copy.
Ooh. Okay. I got asked and answered, counselor. We could talk for hours about this, but it's all academic. Uncle Brian, this is important, okay? And this is not for YouTube. This is for your future. Is Uncle Brian on your side?
Yes.
Okay. I hope that's the answer you would give, and that's good. Now, what is his experience in real estate? What does he own now?
So between him, my parents, and my other uncle, they own the 3 buildings that house our 3 bicycle shops.
Right. I remember the bike shops. Okay. And one of those bike shops is congruent to this laundromat.
Yes, in the same building.
Okay. So you grew up stripping tires and greasing chains and all that horse shit.
Yep.
the guy's on your side. Frankly, I wonder why you paid me to do this. I really do. I just want to know the answer to that.
Just my understanding and just the family dynamics behind it. I'm in their mind, I'm already getting a good deal.
Yeah.
And I think I could get better, but I don't know how to help him to understand how it's fair for him. Because I mean, obviously, I'm not trying to screw anybody over. I want it to be fair for him and for me, and how my long-term success is all dependent on a good lease.
Do you see him every Christmas?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, you got to understand why I'm asking this. I'm not doing this for clicks. And at the end of the day, it's my gauge. You know, I don't have any uncles I don't see for Christmas unless they're dead. You know, it's not the way that it works. So he's on your side.
Right.
I think it would be a mistake for me to speak to your uncle. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Does it make sense? Maybe not, because
Somewhat.
you didn't already answer. So hold on. Are you intimidated by your uncle? That's
not
a
in
yes.
a bad way.
But that's a yes.
Yes.
I don't think that now, first of all, we're not going to call him right now. We're not going to out of the blue call Uncle Brian. That's not me. All right.
Okay.
I'm not going to apologize to the internet, you or anybody else about that, because I want to lift you up and I want you to do this. And I don't want your uncle to get pissed in any way, shape, or form. And I don't mean because he's on YouTube. He'll never see it. He's not going to go find this. Jesus, you could know that I did a video with your Uncle Brian and my channel name and never find it. Trust me, it's hard. I tell people, I'm like, yeah, I was yelling at some guy at a dinner that I spent $9,000 on, and you can see the video. And then they come back a week later like, I couldn't find it. I'm like, God damn it, now I got to go find it. The point being, if you've ever searched for something on Instagram or YouTube and you know it's there and you watched it, and then the next day you've lost it, it might be gone forever, because the internet is so vast. Why don't we give a fact right now? I can ask the audience, how many YouTube videos, don't go type this, are uploaded every day? Guess. What do you think, Caleb? How many YouTube videos are uploaded every day?
Oh, millions.
How many? Give me a number. Give me a guess.
900,000.
900,000?
Yeah.
Okay. You are a quarter of the way there. So here's what it says: around 3.7 million new videos every day. That's around 271,000 hours of content.
Jeez.
On an average length of 4.4 minutes. So we're not talking about hour-long videos. Crazy. Reason for that is numbers are finite. I have negotiated leases for family members before. I've done it before. And I always take the time, energy, and effort to make this a little bit more serious, because for whatever reason, I'm being tentative and careful with my verbiage here. For whatever reason, you don't want to sit down with Uncle Brian and just say, yeah, man, here's the biggest thing. You need to reset this lease the same way that anybody else would.
Okay.
You know what that means? I'll explain.
Okay.
Name one of the people in the business owners in your suites that have been there since the beginning of time. Whether it's, and I don't need to know their names, but is it a restaurant? Is it a yogurt shop? Is it a national chain? Just one of your tenants in your 3 buildings with your family that has been there forever. What type
Besides the bike shop?
Besides your bike shops, yeah.
The floral shop.
Lovely. Floral shop that's been there forever. Man, times are tough. We used to get our tulips straight from Holland, and now we got to buy them from China. Well, I don't know that business, right? But
Right.
you can tell me you don't know or give me the answer. When their lease term comes to an end, do they talk to your mom, your dad, your uncle, or you? I assume it's not you because you'd say, fuck you, I'm giving myself a great lease. You're not
Yeah.
the negotiator. So do they come in and say, hey, we need to reset this thing back to zero? Back to where it was when we started 14 years ago? You don't know.
Do they? Should they? I don't know.
Okay. Good answer. You don't know. If they did, the powers that be would likely say, okay. The argument for that is, dude, most of us go through life and we rent an apartment as soon as we get out from under our folks, right? We get a little older and we rent a house. That's exciting, right? Give money to somebody who owns the house and give them equity. Don't get me started. We've rented several cars the minute we get a credit card, but we've never rented commercial space long term. So when we do, when we're trying to get our business off the ground or it's going very well and that lease comes due, we think in that renter's mentality, well, shit, they've increased my lease rate 3% every year for 15 years. I'm going to go in there and beg them to give me 3 months for free and keep skyrocketing the lease. Doesn't work that way. Commercial leases get reset. If we are taking over the laundry, our obvious argument is, well, I'm spending money on equipment. So this guy that just failed because his rent was too high. He didn't retool. He didn't even have the equipment costs that we did. Let's not talk about the fact that he spent 50 hours a day in there. That's not really the landlord's problem.
Right.
All of that balled together, we need to reset the lease. Do you think your Uncle Brian's aware of that? He is. He knows the way it works. And if he doesn't, because he's family, he will allow it. He will appreciate the fact that you're coming to him as an open book and saying, look, this is the research that I found. Don't say much. And I will talk to him if you wish, but you're going to make... Did you introduce me? Did you tell him that I'm going to talk to him?
I haven't, no.
Okay. In my opinion, and I'm not getting in between you and your family, but in my opinion, he needs to know that, hey, I got a buddy. I've been a fan of this guy for a long time. He has X experience, and we would like to talk about the reset of the lease. I will do that for you. Happily, I will do that for you, okay? But I don't want to call this guy out of the blue or just hit him with an LOI or change the lease because he's family. You follow? And this is not,
Yep.
This is also a business that you have a vested interest in. Now, beyond that, beyond the uncle thing, you're paying $1.40 per square foot per month, okay? And you're about to retool, is that right? I only figure you're about to retool because you told me.
Yes.
Oh, there's a landlord calling back that literally I've been trying to reach for 6 months. We will call him back as soon as we hang up. So you're retooling.
Yes.
Excellent. I feel like you'd say more than one word answers if you didn't know it was the YouTube thing. All right, good. When is your lease expiring?
It just started in last year, and so for 5 years.
Well, so legally, you're fucked. I mean, you know, you're. But this is your uncle, so that's good. That's really good. Don't take anything I say too seriously because you're family. That doesn't matter. But if you came to me as a guy off the street and said, "Hey, I just signed a lease. I need a retool. I have 5 years remaining," that landlord would turn his back on you for 5 years. You know that,
Right?
I've seen it plenty. I have been brought in to pick up the pieces where folks made these errors in judgment and spent $300,000 on a business. They signed a brand new 8-year lease or 5, and they desperately need a retool because they're losing $6,000-$7,000 a month in that laundromat. Ooh, I shouldn't say that, right? I'm some laundromat guru. Laundromats are all rosy. But I've been brought in, I have a conversation, and I say, I can't help you. And they're like, oh my God, you're the king. I'll make the call. I will talk as kindly as I can to your landlord and do my level best to help you out. And you know what happens every time? We make the call and the landlord says, sorry. He's not going to do any. Sorry, go ahead.
It just agreeing. Yep. Sorry, you're already in a lease.
Yeah. Because he just got screwed by a previous tenant the week before, or he's been screwed by every tenant, or he's just, I mean, it's not a landlord thing. I personally have never seen it happen. Now, when you talk in a certain way, what they will do, you know when they will change the lease and help you out?
No clue.
When you stop paying.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. Or wouldn't they just come after you?
No, they would not just come after you. And this is what people, dude, this is the fear that keeps anyone from signing the lease. I've always been the guy personally inside. I bought my first ounce of gold at $433. You can go back and see when it was. How much should I have bought? Tried to talk my grandparents before they passed into taking a $60,000 lump that they were going to give to my dad and my aunt, put it in gold. To this, every time I see my Aunt Mary Lou, I say, hey, this is how much your fucking gold would be worth right now.
Yeah.
But instead, they put it in a 1% interest-bearing account. Okay, whatever. But that takes balls. That takes chutzpah to do stuff like that. To me, it's like, it's a Wednesday.
Second nature, yeah.
Right. I will talk. I think I've asked all the qualifying questions that I need. What was going to be your ask with this new lease? Now, Uncle Brian said, hey, go through it and send it to me. How? He wanted you to send it to him with your changes?
No.
Just give it to him.
Just give it to him so he can go through and make, I guess, his changes that he's okay with based on needing a longer lease.
Yeah. So did you sign the lease with your parents in reality and somehow now he's in charge? I don't get that dichotomy.
So, I mean, my parents could technically sign it. They're on a mission, and so they're not available for signing.
You're such a
and
good
so
person.
I guess he's the next.
Yeah.
Next in.
I think this is going to be a slam dunk. I think you're overthinking a lot of it. And have you already emailed him the lease?
No.
Just email it to him. So right now on January 1, 2023, a year ago, you signed this lease? And it's a 5-year period?
5-year with 3 additional 5 years after.
Okay, so you're a fan. You know that it should be at least 15 years. And spreading the math on the $1.40, where you would not be in a great position if you kept it that way.
No, I'd like to get as close to $1 as possible.
I think your uncle's going to do that for you. So what I would like to do now, and I hope this, if none of this makes sense to you, Caleb, you just tell me no. And I want to say this for the cheap seats. You're the boss. I work for you. It's not the other way around. Okay. But if I don't, yeah, I have nieces and nephews. Sure I do. Of course I do. On Shelly's sister's side. If one of them and I had business dealings and all of a sudden my phone rang and it was a guy that said, hey, I've been hired by Jeremy, one of my nephews, I'd be hurt. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
And I would talk to the guy, and if the guy was well put together and intelligent and knew his stuff, I would appreciate that from Jeremy. But I'll tell you what, the first call I would make was to Jeremy. And we would never call your uncle and do the whole like, hey, you're not on hold listening in. We're going to do a joint call. We'll get there. We're going to get there right away. I don't want to leave you hanging on this at all. But first and foremost, what I would hope that Jeremy would do is say, hey, this is a really big deal to me. This business could break me. It could ruin me in a lot of ways. I'm about to jump in here and sign an equipment note for a bunch of equipment. It's a little scary. And again, Caleb, we're friends. I'm going to say that. You and I are friends. So in that way, you're saying, I've got a friend who I'd love for you to talk with. And then you come up with that. You know the dollar a square foot. And I'm going to say, Uncle Brian, how are you, buddy? We're going to have a conversation. Not on YouTube, because it's your family. And, bullshit with your uncle and get this done. I think he's going to do it for you just based on you spend Christmas together. It's kind of like your folks and everything else. And does any of that make any sense?
No, yeah, totally.
Okay.
Just put it on YouTube, because then I can show my dad to look at what he did to your brother.
No, I don't want to eviscerate. See, now we're getting to weird territory where maybe this is the evil brother, Uncle fucking Brian. If you told me from the beginning, I want to eviscerate Uncle Brian and have his head on a pike, then that would be, I'm over here crying. That's funny. All right. So your marching orders. Send him the lease. And
should I send it with one?
Yeah, no, don't send him lease yet. Send me a note. I want you to write me a note through an email, and you could put it in the Google document if you wish. That way we can both see it and change it. Just write a 2-paragraph note in here. Hey, Uncle Brian, first I want you to debase yourself a little bit and say, this is scary for me. Tell him the truth,
right.
Which it is. All business is scary, again, unless you're me. This is scary. And I'm about to put my neck in a noose here. I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but here's the gist of it. I'm out here to do the thing. I want to become a fantastic tenant. I'm not looking for favors because we're family, but I do need a reset in this thing because of the amount of money I'm spending on equipment. It's the same thing I would say to any landlord, okay? And I have a friend who has vast experience in 3 states with stores. You don't need to go into all that shit and give him my King of Laundry moniker. But I have a friend who I would love you to talk to. Done. Okay? Make it a paragraph long. You're setting him up, you're teeing him up to understand that this lease rate is going to... I need a reset. Somewhere in there, one of those sentences should be, I need a reset. Not that I feel, and I'll punch it up. He might read it, then have a scotch and a whiskey and a beer, and then read it again, and maybe he'll get incensed, and maybe he'll wish you could get your brother on, your dad on the phone. I don't know, dude. I'm making all this up. The guy's not wringing his hands trying to destroy you, hopefully.
Yeah.
But somewhere, if you wrote, I feel that I need a reset and lease, I would scrap that. No, I need a reset, okay. And that's all. But all you're doing is teeing him up and saying, I want you to talk to my buddy. Now, he might pick up the phone and call you. And due to the fact that you've hired me, and this is all childish, I know, but you've hired me, you want me to make the call for whatever reason. I get that. I understand that. So you're going to send that email the same day that we talk to him. So we'll set that up. So you're not ghosting him for a week or whatever else. So that's your marching orders.
Okay, will do.
I'm not going to ask you what Uncle Brian did to your dad. That's me not asking. All right. Look, this is. I'm not a numbers guy, like I say, but this is 99% good for you. You're congratulations. It's all lovely. The flip side of that is I know that you know me because you want more stores, and I want to get after more stores with you. What have you done in that vein?
I have looked at. There's 4 other stores in my same city, and then in the other city, there's 4 or 5 of them that I've scouted, mostly for the sake to see where my store currently sits in regards to the...
Bro, one store is a hobby. You're making money, right? You're doing well.
I want more.
Love it. Perfect answer. 4 stores, even 2 stores, life-changing for many people. 5 stores, You're looking for a bigger house, a bigger wife, a bigger dog.
Right. Yep.
Truly.
Uh,
And you're in, you know, the smell of a burning, trying to think of the laundry part. You know, you know what a bearing job sounds like, for shit's sake.
yeah.
You're up to your elbows in it already. And let me ask you, instead of putting words in your mouth, would 5 stores really be a big difference from one? Other than the money
Yes.
you're making?
Definitely. I mean,
No, the answer is no, dummy.
No.
No.
Oh,
5 stores? If you do this right, the difference between 30 and 1 is a big difference. But 1 and 2 and 3, it's incremental. So
incremental, as I guess, just ask for my own question's sakes, incremental in just difficulty of like handling them, or
no, what's difficult about this store? Don't tell me you have paid employees.
Well, no, I have a 1099 cleaner.
Okay. See, I wouldn't do that, and you know that. And once
Right.
you have 5 stores, you start to realize that that's an expense you simply don't need. And you'll do the contract, and you'll have contract employees in there doing wash, dry, fold. I'm just saying. I battle with people that already own laundromats because they've done something away and they know what they can earn. And you have a cleaner that comes in a couple times a day and phones in their work and doesn't give a shit. And that's fine. You pay a service, not an individual.
Yeah, I pay a company.
Better.
She
Because you don't know who's going to come in because you're paying a company. But anyway, that's another discussion for another day. You're killing me over here. Pen out what you want to say to Uncle Brian. Put it in the document. As soon as it's done, send me a text and I will go punch it up.
sounds good.
What else would you like to say, sir?
Well, other than what we've discussed, I'll start looking at more stores.
Yeah, dude, you need to. We need more stores. All right, I got to go. You want to stay on YouTube with me for a minute?
Sure,
We're just gonna
whatever.
talk to these people. See, when I focus on you or any landlord or whatever else, they start talking amongst themselves, and then it all goes sideways. We've got 57 people on here. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being here. If you don't understand what's been going on, well, tough shit. At the end of the day, you can rewind this and watch it again. We've got Andrew saying, good morning, Danny from New Zealand. Love your content. Love you. Sam says, hi, Danny. Renee. Now, folks are going to put random numbers, and the number for the gold, it is 1 pound of gold. It's easy math. Come on. $37,952. Yes, that's correct. And that's not the greatest Cadillac. We're not talking Escalade, but my grandfather's still right. It's a cool little kitschy thing that a pound of gold will always buy you a brand new Cadillac. Do you ever ask for more than 15 years in lease negotiations? Yes, Alejandro. We ask for more when they balk about any part of the lease. You always want to leave yourself more leeway in any negotiation. Never say things like, that's my final offer, or I would never do anything below or above, depending on what you're saying. That amount. Things like that are negotiation destroyers for you. And it also shows a lot of ignorance. And you know what? I have respect for the people I negotiate with and against. When they say something like that, I will turn it on them. And I don't know the terms for all of this. It's just what I do. Hey, you said you would absolutely not accept less than $2 per square foot. You're either a liar or that was a tactic. Which is it? You've heard me do that. Renzi says, Danny, appreciate you having that sailor's meowth. My wife can't stand it. As a fellow military guy, I appreciate it. Army. Well, fuck you, Army. T. Truall says, impact. You use the Navy as an excuse, but really, I appreciate your wife. Tell her about the shower scene. Environmental impact fees. in Metro Atlanta go up to $1,190 per washer. That's the cheap compared to other states. That's correct. So what Whit is talking about, if you build a laundromat from scratch, you're going to be charged the same amount when you build $1 million or a $300,000 residence. The local constabulation doesn't care. When you sink a hole in the ground and you put soapy suds in it, they want to get paid. You're impacting the environment. California, certain areas of LA, San Bernardino. Anthony says, hey, Danny, is your November 23rd seminar in Los Angeles still happening? It's full. And yes, you cannot get in. I have to yell at Nigel to change that. Who wants to help on a laundromat in Mansfield, Ohio? Who wants to help on a laundromat in Mansfield, Ohio? Hugh, you don't know what channel you're on, bro, because no one on here is going to help you. I'm not sure what you mean. This isn't a forum for someone, quote, helping. I'll help you. But I don't know enough about what you're talking about to, quote, help you. Do you already have a laundromat? Okay, this is the right place to get help. You need new equipment. You need proper procedures. You need to fill your head with as much knowledge as you can. Nick says, this is insane. I don't know what Nick's talking about. Next guy says, billionaire status incoming. Okay, good for you. 2 million, 300 million. What are we talking about? What are all these? Are they joking about how much the gold is worth? Next guy says, wow, get your tulips from Holland, not China. Danny D. Circa. Yes, exactly. I don't know where I come up with this shit. Sam says, it seems when business is deal with family or extended family is much harder to solve. Maybe, I don't know. I get that. I guess Caleb understands that. And Caleb wants to get a good deal. Caleb goes from $1.40 to $1 a square foot, and we're talking literally tens of thousands of dollars in savings over the next 15 years. So it's smart. And also creating a more saleable business. And when we talk to him, Caleb, if your uncle kind of balks about any of it, I'll say, what's wrong? Because I want to hear from him. If he says, well, what if he sells it? Now we're thinking, oh shit, this guy's pretty sharp. Well, if he sells it, we can even put a clause in the lease that we will reset the lease. That you will obviously allow him to reset the lease if you sell it. And you're not going to sell this business out from under your family. And that's part of what I would say. Hey, what's up, Danny? My name's Mohammed. Huge fan of your channel. Thank you, Mo. Been meaning to say what's up to you during one of your live streams. Well, here we are. That's off your list. Hello, everybody. Sam says, even borrowing money is hard to deal. Yes, with family, it is. Money will destroy a family. It's crazy. I was saying borrowing money from, yeah, I get it. Max says, Max here. Well, your name's Max. I knew that. Looking forward to chatting with you very soon. Let's do that, Max. It's easy. Get the silly course, watch the silly course, either click the little button to consult, and my consultations are never ending. I'm not going to hourly wage you. I'm not going to say, okay, your time is up. It seems nuts, but it's so relaxing, right, Caleb? It's just relaxing.
So soothing.
So soothing. It's basically me being an absolute narcissist where I say, well, I don't want to fucking look at the clock and think, oh, I talked to Caleb for 9 hours, another hour to go. It's nonsense. You hire me, I send you my cell phone number, the one and only number. Then we talk. If you need anything, text me, like I just told Caleb. Mo says, hey, question. Okay, great way to start a question by telling us you're asking one. How much capital would you recommend having before getting serious on lawn? Dude, if you've been watching this for an hour and a half, you better be serious already. Besides your course, your services like renovations, any other costs associated with getting it. Let's be serious for a minute. You don't need any money. If you search and you're looking for a landlord that has 3 million square feet under their umbrella, they own Walmarts and dollar stores and national chains and little laundromats and big laundromats. those folks will write you TI checks. Personally, it wouldn't be worth my time. Personally, I know folks that I hang out with and rub elbows with that have 9, 10, 11, 60 stores, and they won't spend money to rehab a store because it becomes a game. But it's your first time. So you want me to say XXX with a dollar sign in front of it? I won't, because there is no price. Would it be nice if you had X in the bank? Sure it would. But wouldn't it be better to keep X yours? That's what the wealthy do. We leverage things such as the lease. Mo, get the course because it's going to teach you. Once you sign the lease, you bring the distributors in. Caleb, these distributors are falling all over you. I know they are because you already have that store.
Yeah, I reached out to several of them doing exactly what you said to do in the course, and looked and saved nearly $200,000 by asking them all and seeing who gave me the best price.
Holy shit. Well, thanks for bringing that up. I'm glad I left you on board. Good night, everybody. Play us out, Paul. What he is referring to is the moment when you need equipment. The worst thing you could do is go to one guy and say, I'm a Ford man. Or look at your equipment and say, well, it all says Maytag on it. And call the Maytag man. They love that shit. These guys aren't your friends. And what I taught Caleb is what I teach you in the silly course. Bring them there. Don't let them buy you a sandwich if you want, but you don't have time to sit down and eat. They're hoping, they're praying the distributors that you don't know what the equipment is worth, what you should be spending on it, or what you're about to pay. What you want is the best price and the longest warranty. There is no Cadillac. Good for you, man. Danny D'Angelo saved me $200,000. Holy shit. I'm glad I kept you on here. I'm thrilled.
Well, thank you. I'm thrilled too.
Oh, man. All right. A couple more here. Got 5 stores. You are pre-qualified for a bigger house, bigger wife, bigger dog, Danny D. All right. Looking at getting the course and learning the ins and outs, says Mo. We've turned one person around. Your skill and info has amazing, by the way. Thank you, Mohammed. Means a lot. Shelly's on here. Michelle says, David Letterman. Are you sick right now? We have so many inside jokes. Shelly, you are the love of my life, and we will play out with that. Do your work, Caleb. To everybody else, appreciate you. We are going to go into the regular video right now from the top chat, and our comments are going to include something about Uncle Brian. Say goodbye, Caleb.
Awesome. Thank you. See you later.
Later. Go make a comment in the video, kids. I'll be right out, Shelly. Ciao.